Hello and welcome to another episode of the Small Town Tourist Podcast, where we experience and explore everything that makes small towns great. I'm your host, Abby Graves, and today we're talking with Paige Meyer. She's the owner of HollyBlue Permanent Jewelry based out of Rice, Minnesota. She doesn't have a storefront in Rice, so don't go driving up and down Main Street looking for her. Instead, Paige sets up at different places around central Minnesota. She does pop-ups at places like Backshed Brewing, and she worked with Black Rose Tattoo Studio, and she does private parties as well. I've been interested in permanent jewelry for about a year now. I saw a place down in Florida offered it when I was looking for a vacation to take, and I'm like, whoa, what's that? I would definitely like a piece of permanent jewelry, and it just so happens that right around the time I was looking at it online last year, Paige was as well, and she was getting her business started. I even went and got my first piece of permanent jewelry from her at one of her pop-ups that she just did at Backshed Brewing in Waite Park. It was so awesome getting to talk to Paige about the permanent jewelry business and how it's really taken off in the past year. I really hope you enjoy hanging out with Paige Meyer of HollyBlue Permanent Jewelry.
Then we all agree that this little town has got its ups and it's got its downs, but growing up somewhere else around wouldn't beat this place. Yeah, that's my hometown.
Need to start now?
Whenever you're ready.
All right. So my name is Paige. I'm the owner of HollyBlue Permanent Jewelry here in town, based in Rice, Minnesota. Don't have an actual storefront, but you can find me popping up all over central Minnesota. I grew up here in St. Cloud. I'd say we've been here since I was in about first grade, graduated from Tech High School, and have just been here ever since. So my whole family's from this area. So when my dad was in the Navy, both my parents grew up here, so we just moved back up and made it our home.
That's awesome. Just the hometown feel, and it's a great place to start a business as well.
It is. Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about your permanent jewelry brand, because this is something I've actually been interested in. Last year about this time, I was starting to plan out my honeymoon, and we were thinking of heading down to an island town down in Florida, and I was just looking up random things to do, and there was one place that said, stop by and get permanent jewelry done. And I'm like, what the heck is permanent jewelry? What is this thing? And we never ended up going on that honeymoon. We went somewhere else entirely, but it's always been in the back of my mind. What is permanent jewelry? So can you explain exactly what it is?
Yeah. So, the word permanent is like the most intimidating word to people. They instantly think, oh my gosh, are you embedding this bracelet into my skin? So sometimes I get really leery using the word permanent. So I like to think of it as infinity jewelry, meaning you're going to take that clasp, like your traditional jewelry that uses clasps to apply it on, taking it out completely, leaving a seamless bracelet. So I weld it on, which again sounds super scary, but I promise you it's very safe and easy. And one quick little zap, bracelet is on and permanent per se until you want it removed. So I think a big thing people forget is like, oh, so I can never take it off. Well, no, it's pretty easy to remove. You basically just snip it off, kitchen scissors, a nail clipper. They aren't stuck with you forever. Some people want to hope that it will be, but there is so many options to take it off if that's what you feel. So it's pretty cool. I love it.
It is super cool. And I have a couple of earrings that I got done, and they're one of those infinity hoops. And so I can't take them out myself. I have to go to someone to get them taken out of my head. But honestly,
Right.
I love it because I never have to think about it.
Yes. And that is one of the biggest pluses. So I always tell people, I don't know, a couple years ago, my husband got me one of those Pandora bracelets. But if he's not home when I'm getting ready, I physically can't put that bracelet on by myself. And so I started to feel bad, and he'd be like, how come you never wear my bracelet I bought you? And I'm like, I can't put it on by myself. So waking up every morning and having my bracelets on, and they're just there every day, and I don't have to think about it. I like to call it effortless accessory, because you wake up and you are already accessorized, even if you're going to be in your pajamas all day long.
I love that so much, because once I find a piece of jewelry that I really like, that's all I'll wear. I just wear the same thing over and over and over again until I inevitably lose it because I have to take it off and put it on. So the fact that I wouldn't lose this is perfection.
It is. It's so fun. And I'm really not a huge jewelry person. So I was a little hesitant at first when I was like, okay, so I'm going to wear this all the time. I take my wedding ring off right when I walk in the door. I usually just don't like having things on me. But the glory of permanent jewelry, and at least the chains that I provide, is they're so dainty yet durable that you don't know that they're there when you're wearing them, and yet they can go through so much. Like, I've had mine on for almost a year, and I am like the world's biggest OCD cleaner. Like, I'm like intensely using my hands all the time, and they look the same as they did the day I put them on. So they really can get put through a lot. And it's shocking to me sometimes. And even my clients who come back for their second or their third piece, and they're like, I just can't believe how well this is held up. And I'm like, yeah, it shocks me still when I see people that, I put jewelry on in July of last year and they're still holding strong, or they've been through things. Yesterday, I went to a private party and she had gone to Mexico since getting her first bracelets done. And she's like, I can't believe that they withstood the sunscreen and the pool. And I'm like, I love that. Like, that's what I want to hear, is that the products that I'm providing are doing exactly what I say that they're going to do. So it really warms my heart.
With them being so durable, what kind of metals are your jewelry made out of? Do you have a selection?
Yes. So currently my metal selection is 14 karat gold filled. So by gold filled, a lot of people get it confused with like that gold plated that, is eventually going to turn your skin green or start to tarnish. Gold filled is sort of similar along the lines of a solid gold component, except the innermost part of the metal is like a jeweler's brass. So it isn't going to be solid all the way through, but the most outer parts of the metal is going to be that durable, solid 14 karat. I also offer it in rose gold, same components. It's that rose gold filled, as well as sterling silver. So sterling silver sometimes can give people trouble, and it's usually like new to people because, and this is like totally new to me, some people's skin chemistry can start to tarnish sterling silver faster than other people.
That's me. I'm actually allergic to sterling silver. Like, it wrecks my skin.
I just learned about this because, I'd been doing it probably like 6 months and I hadn't had anybody with issues. And I finally got a message, and she had her bracelet on like 2 days and it had completely changed colors. And I was like, what? I have sold that chain to so many people. What is going on? And so I kind of reached out to a community of girls that that do permanent jewelry in other states that I talk with. And they're like, yeah, people's skin, they just don't work with sterling silver. And it's like, you don't know until you put it on.
Right. Or unless you're someone who has the allergy or the skin component that does it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was mind blowing to me because I was like, what? That's a thing? Like, I guess I would never know. But yeah, so it's hard to tell people when they're like, well, how do I know if I have that? I'm like, you don't. You put it on and it changes colors in 2 days. So, but yeah, that was crazy to me. But as of right now, those are the metals that I provide. Somewhere down the road, I would love to provide like the solid gold options for people. Of course, a bigger price tag comes with those.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if the community is quite ready for that yet. Still going to let them warm up to the idea of just permanent jewelry before I overwhelm them with the big bling.
Yeah, well, because it is a new offering here in central Minnesota. I have yet to see another business like yours pop up, and I think that's really cool that you're kind of on the cutting edge of this.
Yes. And it's crazy too, because I keep hearing that, oh, you're the only person. And it's like, I'm not. People are really kind of starting to come out of the woodwork per se. And the more it like gets into people's heads, like I've seen a few other girls pop up that are doing permanent jewelry now. And it's crazy because I'd been doing it for almost 7 months before I had seen someone else. And I'm like, wow, 7 months and there was no one else. And now it's just like blowing up. It is crazy.
All it takes is one TikTok video.
It does. Hey, that's what did it for me. I saw it on TikTok and I was like, I need that.
Yep.
I need that. And how do I get it? And of course, everything takes forever to come to Minnesota. We're like the last for all trends and all the things. So I was like, well, there's no one here to do it for me. We went on vacation to Arizona, similar to, you hearing about it down in Florida. And there was people everywhere, but they were booked. And I'm like, well, we're not here that long. So I guess that's not happening.
Yeah, no kidding.
Came home and I'm like, that's it. I'm doing this myself. I can do this. That was the start of all of that.
You sound like a woman after my own heart, because I am the kind of person that's like, well, if no one can do it for me, I'm just going to learn to do it myself.
Yep.
Why not?
Exactly what I did. And I'm so happy I did because I'm having so much fun.
So how did you figure out like where to get your jewelry chains from, the soldering, welding equipment? Like, was that all just online?
That is the craziest thing. So back when I started, which was April of 22, end of April, early May, there was really there wasn't a whole lot of companies that did it. There was no videos on YouTube. There was no training you could buy online. I would try to like search on pages and like try to get little snippets of people putting on the jewelry to see if I could like figure out how they were doing it, or get glimpses of like pictures of their welders and look it up. And like, it was a lot of like spy work. People didn't want to share how they did this because they didn't want it to turn into what it is today and how big it is. And I literally was like an investigator, and I had to investigate all these little things and find ways. And I'm like, well, how do I get chain? And I started with just like simply sourcing from Etsy until I found out like, oh, I can do this through wholesalers, and literally taught myself for like 3 months until I was like, okay, I'm hitting a wall. I know I can do better. And then that's when I came across a gal in Utah who had put out some online training. So me and her kind of connected, and she sent me over the training. And by watching a couple videos she made, I was like, that's all I needed. And from there, I felt confident, and she's always right in my back pocket if I need her for things. And I'm so grateful for her. But yeah, in the beginning, it was a disaster because there was no training. There was no nothing. It was just like this secret society of people. And they wouldn't even put up full videos of things. It was like you got 2 seconds to see what they did. And then it was boom, it was gone.
Oh my gosh.
And so I just was constantly watching. And now if you were to go on, you could go on YouTube and there's endless videos of how to do permanent jewelry. And so it's crazy to me that almost a year ago, I couldn't find a dang thing about it.
It's insane how fast the internet moves.
I know. It is insane because now, you can just look it up and teach yourself over YouTube, and boom, there you go.
That's so wild. You don't have a storefront. You're operating just at pop-up locations, right?
Yeah. So I mainly like to do business with other small businesses, but I do offer appointments out of my home. So we had turned one of my spare bedrooms at home pretty quickly in the beginning into an office for myself because I had so many people that were interested in like, I don't make it to pop-ups. They're not really my thing, but they wanted the permanent jewelry. And so we were working out of my kitchen for a while. And so I officially have a home office, and that's in Rice. But lately I've been so busy at pop-ups that people coming out to the home just has kind of died down. And I'm okay with that because I personally love the business I get to bring in for these small businesses that trust me to come in and, use their space. And it's kind of a win for both of us. And I love that because in a way it's me supporting them and bringing in the community for them as well as myself. And they're just really great days. It's one of my favorite things to do is get to go and make these relationships with all these other businesses in town, places I had never gone before doing this. And that is so special to me. But I also do private parties. So I go into other people's homes or go to events that they're having for themselves, like bachelorette parties or birthday parties. And, literally it's endless, the things that I was at a Super Bowl party yesterday doing permanent jewelry for some girls. So
that is so fun.
Yeah, you can do anything. I'm mobile. So it's really nice. As long as you have a place and there's somewhere for me to plug into an outlet, we can do permanent jewelry.
That's pretty handy.
Yeah, it's super fun.
That's great. So you had a couple of pop-ups. You worked with Black Rose Tattoo, right, this past week?
Up last Friday, I was at Black Rose Tattoo Studio. And then I did my first double event on Saturday. So I have never been able to do 2 pop-ups at once. Clearly, I couldn't be at 2 places at once. I have a really good friend of mine who is with me a lot. She usually runs like the money, takes payment, helps people pick out their chains, gives them all the details so I can just keep doing my thing. I trained her how to use the welder and I sent her on her way and she did great. And I had record amounts of jewelry sold on Saturday. So
that's wonderful.
It was such a good day and I was exhausted at 6:00.
I bet. It takes a lot out of you.
Yes, it was a long day, but worth it.
How long does it take for like someone to say, walk up, pick their stuff to getting it literally welded on their body?
It depends on the person because right now I currently have 44 chain options to pick
Oh,
from.
wow.
So usually the longest part of the process is deciding which chain you want to go with. And if you're going to do 1, 2, 3, or add a charm, because that's a possibility too. And after that, if you're not a so indecisive person, you just like know what you want and pick it out. Once you get to me to weld it, I literally takes me 2 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It is very quick. Yeah. Super easy. The hardest part is picking your chain.
Wow. That's so cool. 2 minutes.
2 minutes. We timed it one day. We were just curious how long it takes. And it was like 2 minutes and some seconds to put a bracelet on.
That is wild.
Yep.
So
2 minutes to last forever, hopefully.
in theory.
In theory.
So you do bracelets and then I'm guessing necklaces?
Necklaces and anklets.
Okay.
So
very
and
cool.
ring, actually, I should throw that out there. I did my first 5 rings on Saturday and the girls loved them. So they're kind of fun.
Wow. I'm thinking about my own hands and I think I eat too much salt and swell too much for a ring, but that sounds really cool to never have to worry about losing a ring.
Yeah, they loved it. They added little birthstone charms for their kids. So it was like a mother's ring and they were beautiful and the ladies loved them. So it was super fun.
That is so sweet. And did I see you're doing laser engraved charms or something on Facebook?
Yes. I got a new machine. So for the longest time, I was hand stamping charms, but the quality or the outcome of the stamping themselves was just not up to my standards. So I was like, you know what? There's got to be a better way to make these more custom for people and make them more of a unique, special piece. Laser engraving it was. So, the possibilities with that engraver, you literally could send me a picture of your kids and I could engrave it on a disc for you. So I'm really, really excited about that, just to make this whole permanent jewelry something even more special for people.
That's insane. You can do pictures onto a charm that you could then have on your body forever.
Yes, I know. It's crazy. It's going to be I can't wait to start creating things for people. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, all the unique projects that are going to come from that are going to be so much fun.
Oh, I'm very excited.
So I want to get into a little bit about how you named your business, because your name is Paige, but your business is HollyBlue. So tell me about how that came about.
Oh, yes. So I get all the time, people think my name is Holly. From the very beginning, I would go to different events and, oh, hi, Holly. So HollyBlue is actually a species of butterfly. So it's a little blue dainty butterfly. And basically, my whole reasoning behind it was I have a really weird connection with butterflies. They're really special to me. A lot of people that I've lost in my life, grandparents and such, I feel like have always stayed connected to me in the form of a butterfly. And I just knew that I couldn't just jump and name a business after a monarch, because that's weird. So when I started deciding on what I was going to name my business, and I knew I wanted to incorporate butterflies some way because they are so special to me, I just kind of pulled up a website one day and it has just millions of species of butterflies. And we said them out loud. We just kept reading the list and they all were just terrible, because they're some of the weirdest named butterflies in the world. You would be shocked. And so finally we got to the HollyBlue and I was like, I really like that. It flows. And so then we pulled up a picture of it, because also some butterflies are terribly ugly. So we pulled up a picture of a HollyBlue and it was just this little dainty and delicate butterfly. And to me, I just knew it was perfect, because the chains and the jewelry and what I provide to people is that dainty and elegant and delicate piece of jewelry. And it went perfectly with the HollyBlue. So it was perfect. It stuck. I was able to brand in butterflies just like I wanted to. And yeah.
Sometimes everything just lines up perfectly.
Yep. It was perfect. And I'm so happy, because when I look at all the other businesses in the United States that do what I do, they all really kind of stuck along the same branding of zapped or fused or sparked or something like that. And yeah, that is the idea around permanent jewelry, is there is that one spark, but I just wanted to be different too, in a way, to kind of get myself to stand out and know that no one else would ever have my name. because we're all independent business owners. People kind of often get confused if we're like part of something or there's a bigger company somewhere, but this is all from the bottom up for all of us who do this permanent jewelry. So we have to decide all of those little pieces ourselves. So I was really happy when I came up with HollyBlue because I knew that no one would ever have that. So it was great and perfect for me.
It's unique and it's all yours.
Yes. And I love that.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, I am so happy that we had a chance to connect and talk about this today. And I'm really looking to trying to get to one of your pop-ups and get some of this permanent jewelry because
yeah, for sure.
I just lost my everyday necklace and now I'm going to need another one. So I might as well just get one permanently put on me.
Yep, that's it. That's the way to do it. And then you don't ever have to worry about it.
Exactly. Are you pretty booked for this upcoming spring and summer yet? Or are you still taking different bookings around the area?
Here and there. My weekends are pretty full through the first 2 weekends in May. Our third baby is due at the end of May.
Oh.
I don't plan on taking a huge break because he's going to be my new partner in crime. He's going to go everywhere with me, but I will take a couple weeks off, and thank God I have my friend Sarah is now trained to help, and she's ready to keep getting people permanent jewelry while I'm at home recovering with baby. But there's still days available. People just have to reach out, book something. But yeah, almost every weekend you can find us somewhere.
That's so great. So where can people, if they're looking for that list, where can they find it?
So every first of the month, I post on my social medias my pop-up schedule for the month, just because it's ever changing and people are adding in. I don't like to post too far ahead because things are going to just keep adding in. But once a month, I post for the month, and it's on social media. Soon it will be on a website, something that we're working on currently, but technology is not friendly. So it's been a process, but
Amen.
We're getting there.
Awesome.
So yeah.
And then what are those social media handles for people to go and follow?
So on Instagram, it's going to be HollyBlue _permanent. And then on Facebook, it's just HollyBlue Permanent Jewelry.
Okay, great. Well, Paige, thank you so much for taking the time to call me today and chatting about this, because I think this is just so cool. And I love that you're kind of the first in the area to really get your name out there and get this rolling.
Of course. It was my pleasure. I loved it. I'm so excited.
Thanks for listening to the Small Town Tourist Podcast. I'm your host, Abby Minky Graves. Our theme song is That's My Hometown by Aaron Simmons. You can find him online, aaronsimmonsmusic.com, and wherever you stream music. Be sure to check out the blog, thesmalltowntourist.com, and follow on Instagram @thesmalltowntourist.